Welcome back to Prophetic Perspective. We're here with Olivier Melnick. Olivier has been a longtime friend of Lamb Lion Ministries and has recently started his own ministry. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. But we are here at the pre-trib conference, and Olivier, a lot of information being shared about what's happening prophetically in the world. So let's just dive right in and ask you, with the recent election of Donald Trump, a re-election, if you will, of President Trump, seems to be more of a friend of Israel than we've had these last 4 years. How do you see that playing out on God's prophetic time clock? Do you think there's going to be a pause on the acceleration of end times events, or where do we stand?
Well, I'm thinking from a Jewish perspective, you can call it the last Trump. Okay, that was my bad joke.
Okay, yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of things that could happen, with Trump coming back. But what I'm seeing is, based on his support of Israel in the first 4 years that he was president, I think that he's not going to have a lot of patience for those who are kind of letting things happen. So I'm hoping that, for instance, the pro-Hamas demonstration on campuses in America is going to bring that to an end. He's going to basically cripple the universities and say, hey, you want funding, you want money, stop this.
Right.
Denounce it, stop it, and he's the kind of guy that would do something like that. So I'm hoping that those who are trying to promote an anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist agenda will not be able to do it as freely as they did under the previous administration.
And obviously with Mike Huckabee as his ambassador,
yes,
we see that as a positive sign that an evangelical Christian is going to be there supporting Israel.
Yes, absolutely. And Israel really needs to they need to understand on a deeper level that they do have friends in the evangelical world. Not as many as maybe 20 years ago, but they're there, and they want to make a difference.
Well, it must be hard for them because America is so two-faced. Depending on which president or which administration, they're your friend or your enemy or your frenemy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So.
By the way, it's not just America; it's the whole world. I was talking to some of my contacts in France, and in the last couple of days, they said, "This is Trump was in Paris at the Notre Dame reopening, and they were saying like Trump was a pariah 5 years ago. I mean, they hated him. They did everything that Trump represented. It was so negative, and right now he's like the Messiah. It's like everybody wants to become his friend. They want to shake his hand. They want to be doing things with him, and they're scared." It's just
the fickleness of politics.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've got, Israel is in the target with so many Hamas, Hezbollah, they're winning. Do you see a time of peace coming for Israel? And what's coming up next prophetically for Israel?
I wish I knew.
Well, what does the Bible tell us?
What does I was going to say? I don't know where you guys stand on the Ezekiel 38, but I see that in Ezekiel 38 there's going to be a time where there seems to be a respite and peace and tranquility and leading up to Ezekiel 38. So are we setting the stage for that? I think the stage is being set for that. That for the coming Ezekiel 38. I am also, you didn't ask, but I'll tell you, I'm not a proponent of the physical, actual war of Psalm 83. Okay. Some people say it's a real war. I don't think it is. I think it's a literary device of Asaph saying, the whole world is after us.
So you think perhaps even all the developments of Hamas being put down, Hezbollah being addressed, even Iran for a time, and now the upheaval in Syria, you think that some of this peace that might break out for a season is beginning to happen even before our eyes that will lead to that time of relative shalom and security before Ezekiel 38 war?
It could. I was talking to my my ministry partner Doug the other day, and he mentioned like things are happening so quickly. What happened in Syria? What, a week? I mean, who would have guessed that within a week Assad would be deposed and gone and moving on. And by the way, it's a bad vacuum that's left there.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know, and Israel is moving
where's
into
Russia?
You know, Israel is moving in to clean up, you know, all the chemical weapons and everything, because if they cannot afford to have an Afghanistan debacle like
On
we
their
had.
doorstep.
You know, so they have to clean up the mess. So it's going to be very interesting what's happening. But so the big answer is, I think it's a potential setting up for Ezekiel 38.
Interesting. Well, part of this conference is a lot of people talking about technologies, AI, cryptocurrency, and all that. Do you see any of the technologies that have risen today being able to be used by the Antichrist to rule the world?
I got to think about that one. I mean, AI, you know, I use AI for illustrations for articles
It's
that
very
I write
useful,
and
yeah,
stuff.
especially
And
art.
The other day, I was talking to Doug. He mentioned his name twice today. He's an important guy in my ministry, and we're talking because he understands AI much better than I do. And I'm trying to get an illustration for an article that I wrote on the 3 Ps test. A test for Christians to help Israel. And I said, please draw a dice with 3P capital on 3 visible sides. It took me about 12 times. It never drew it properly. And it was a simple request. So he goes, have you tried it? In the name of Jesus, I rebuke you.
Well, now you got to tell us what the P's are. You've set us up.
Prayer, promotion, and provision. And it's in my article on my website. But the point is that I think AI, whatever AI ends up being, I think AI, like everything else, like the internet, it's a tool. And it can be used for good or for evil. The best way for people to understand this is you can take a brush, and I'm an artist by trade. So you take a brush, you give it to Claude Monet, and you get the water lilies. Okay, beautiful painting. You take the same brush, you give it to a Nazi in 1938, and you get the White Star on the front of the stores in Berlin, and it's Kristallnacht.
So it's
same
whoever's
tool.
holding the technology,
Whoever's holding the
makes it evil or
technology
not,
will
or good.
make it whatever they want for
That's a
their
great
agenda.
analogy. That's a great analogy. Well, obviously, we've watched as even sometimes technology is used in a nefarious way. We have seen a rise in anti-Semitism. I know that's something you track right now, Olivier. I hope that is tamped down, at least in this country, as you indicated, under a new administration. It was far too tolerated and even encouraged by a leftist administration.
Yeah.
So I hope that is set back, but we know that Satan will not sit idly by, that he will continue to advocate for the destruction of Israel, the destruction of the Jewish people, and the destruction of Christians who are the people of God.
I think you said it right. It's not going to be promoted as much as it was under this administration that's almost over. But Satan is never going to stop because he knows that it's his agenda is to get rid of the chosen people of God, to get rid of the Jews.
And his time is short.
And his time is short. He's running on fumes. And so I don't think it will be promoted. I don't think it will be tolerated as much as it was in the last 4 years. But it's not going to stop. And Satan has been very creative over the centuries, always subcontracting his hatred to different groups.
Yeah, and you've spent your entire ministry life speaking out against anti-Semitism.
26 years, yeah.
What about your new ministry
Yeah,
and
tell
some of
us
your
about-
resources?
Tell us about your new ministry.
Okay.
Because we are partnered with you now
I
and want to
know.
be very supportive.
I mean, am I supposed to thank you in public?
no. But tell us
But
about
I will. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you because
well, we believe in you.
I know you believe in the ministry, and it's so important because a lot of Christians nowadays, they pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they pray for Israel, but they don't really have any skin in the game. And we are at a time in the history of mankind that we need to have skin in the game. We need to really make a difference. And so, I was with a ministry, a very, very good ministry, and I have a lot of friends there still to this day for 27 years. And then the Lord redeployed me to do still in Jewish outreach, to be able to spend more time to prepare, to equip, and to mobilize. That's really the word I really like to use, to mobilize Christians to let them know, hey, listen, it's going to get bad again for the Jews. Are you ready? Is your house ready? And it's not like, remodeling the house. Is your heart ready? If your heart is ready, your house is ready. And so I'm spending a lot of time.
What's it called again?
Well, our ministry is called Shalom in Messiah, shalominmessiah.com.
Peace in Messiah.
Peace
for
in
some
Messiah.
people who don't
exactly.
speak Hebrew.
The only true peace is the
Yes.
one you can find in Messiah when you have a relationship with Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. So our ministry is our mission statement is to mobilize Christians and to expose the lies and teach the truth and lead Jewish people to their Messiah. That's what we do. And we're connected to a network, which I've spoken of on your show before,
Yes.
that will help Christians prepare their heart and prepare their homes to rescue and shelter Jews at a time of need.
We've always had tremendous resources we've featured before, but now you have a new book, Do You Know Somebody Jewish? Now What? In other words, tools for even a Gentile
Right.
follower of Jesus, Yeshua,
Right.
to be able to share with Jewish friends the truth of our Jewish Messiah.
Right. Now, this book, this is a book that you want to get if you want to learn basic answers to many questions about the Jewish people. Not necessarily a book you want to give to a Jewish friend, but it's a book to equip you, and it's a primer. It's a simple booklet.
Yes.
Read in maybe an hour and a half, but it's going to answer questions that a lot of people have. You know, from questions from why do Jews vote Democrat to why do they wear those hats on their heads and everything in between.
Everything in between. Well, Olivier, we wish God's blessing on
Thank
and
you.
through your new ministry, Shalom Messiah. We hope you'll get the book, You Know Somebody Jewish? Now What? And that you will support Olivier with your prayers and financially as well.
And we'll put a link below for that.
We certainly will. Olivier,
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure. Shalom, my friend.
God bless.
Shalom, shalom.
Be blessed.